Hello everyone, we're at PAX Unplugged. I am talking to Ghostfire Gaming about Etharis, and that's coming to D&D Beyond. What is the book? What are the encounters? Tell me all about it.
So Lairs of Etharis is an adventure book that has 20 adventures in it, each designed for levels 1 all the way through to 20, respectively. And each of them is a monster lair where the party are going in and they are hunting a creature that is living deep inside this lair. But it is a specifically dark fantasy setting, Etharis itself. And so each monster has a kind of horror theme about it.
This is 20 ready-made horror fantasy adventures.
Yep.
1 through 20.
Yep.
You've got 75 plus new monsters.
Yes.
You've got 7 new spells, 2 new feats, 10 magic items.
There's a lot in there. And it was sort of when we started putting Lairs of Etharis into D&D Beyond, we were like, all right, well, this is a great intro to the setting because GMs have everything they need to be able to play. But the more we started pulling at the threads of what's actually in Lairs of Etharis, there's 75 unique monsters in there. This is almost a miniature monster manual with adventures, But some of those monsters have unique Grim Hollow spells as well. And so we thought, well, how do we want to handle this? Oh, we'll just put those spells in as well. Like, why not? Why not get everything the GM and the players need to run an adventure in Etharis in this one product? So we put everything in there that they could need. Grim Hollow is the name of the setting. The world is called Etharis. And Etharis is a dark fantasy setting where the gods have fallen. There are no longer gods in this setting, which means that there's no longer divine guidance for the people of Grim Hollow, but also the Celestials of Grim Hollow are incredibly fallible creatures. And so everybody's just kind of trying to make their way through this world. And it creates what I describe as a different kind of power fantasy for players of D&D, where instead of mighty heroes that sort of everything bounces off of them and they conquer evil and the day is saved, instead, you're trying to just bring the glimmers of hope into this decaying world and save who you can, or change the world for the positive in any way that you can. Or you can embrace the darkness and kind of become part of it.
I looked through all these encounters. They all have fantastic maps.
Yeah.
Which is great because we just launched maps.
Yeah.
Why was that so important to each of these encounters? This is really great art.
Well, the lair is as much kind of an extension of the monster as anything else, It should tell the story of the monster even if the monster's not in the lair that particular day, It's an opportunity for characters to explore the lair, gather clues about the monster, how they're going to fight it, what its weaknesses are. Some of these adventures are set up so you don't know what the monster is at the start of the adventure, and it becomes kind of a mystery quest to figure that out. You're like, a Witcher or the brothers from Supernatural kind of trying to diagnose the problem like a doctor. And then once you figure out what this monster's weakness is, then you're ready to fight it. So those maps are kind of as much a part of the character of every adventure as the monster itself.
Some of this art is amazing. I just love how creepy it is.
Yeah, the art's incredible. We have very talented artists. Suzanne Helmey was the art director for the Monster Grimoire, where a lot of these pieces of art came from. And then we added some new art for the D&D Beyond version of Lairs of Etharis specifically. And every time a new one comes in, I'm just like, oh, look at that. Oh,
so you actually added more art for D&D Beyond.
We did. Well, we knew that we wanted people to be able to use it in maps. We knew that we wanted the tokens to kind of match what was in the product. And so we made sure that we had a piece of artwork for every single monster that's in there, every single unique monster that's in there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
As a GM, as a lover of fantasy, for me, the monsters are really where it's at. And this Lairs of Etharis, seeing that there are 75 plus stat blocks in there, it's really a mini monster manual with some adventure that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Dale, who I do the Eldritch Lorecast with, the two of us always, she's always approaching the game from a player's perspective, or not always, but she's often saying, I love character art. I love the art that's in the player's handbook. And I'm always like, I like the monster art. I love the art that's in the monster manual or the Grim Hollow Monster Grimoire. It's just funny where different people's specific focus is. It can be very telling without realizing.
What does it feel like? It feels like there's been an incredible positive sentiment, being able to get access to this content in D&D Beyond now.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you, this whole process?
It's been incredible, honestly. I mean, we love our content and we have an established audience who really love our content as well. But for us to be able to reach such a broader audience, and not just about reaching a broader audience, but even folk who see in Etharis what we love about it and are now able to access it exactly where they want to, that's really exciting for us, you know. Even in my home game, my wife uses D&D Beyond. It's almost like an accessibility tool for her because she gets a little bit lost on a pen and paper character sheet. But she wants to use some of the subclasses or some of the spells that we have in Grimhollow, and so there can be a little bit of a disconnect there. Having everything accessible all in one place on D&D Beyond for her and players like her is honestly really special for us.
Grimhollow is something that just kind of took hold of Ghostfire.
Yeah.
It's so popular. Why do you think this setting is so popular?
I think it offers a different kind of power fantasy, as I mentioned before. You know, base D&D, the Forgotten Realms, offers a great power fantasy of being these shining heroes who are going to bring a brightness to the world. And you can play mischievously if you want. Grimhollow wants to ground D&D a little bit more. We have mechanics for making you feel a bit more mortal, even as you level up. And as I said, that's kind of a different kind of power fantasy where you don't have the strength of Superman to be able to defeat immortal beings effortlessly on your own. But you might be a bit more of a Batman who is merely immortal, but you decide to stand up against the darkness knowing that you're probably going to have to give something of yourself to be able to defeat evil. And I think that sense of sacrifice and that sense of high emotional stakes is what I really attach to the setting. And I think that's why our players love it as well.
What has the last few days been like?
Intense, especially because I've flown over from Australia. So I was on a plane for about 24 hours almost. And then we got into Philadelphia for PAX. And the morning we got in was the morning that it went live on D&D Beyond. And before it went live on D&D Beyond, we weren't telling anybody. We wanted this to be a real special surprise for the community. So we've been kind of holding on to it for a couple of weeks now. And then just the release of the news going public, and we were in our hotel room exhausted from the journey, but just on Twitter, on different social media, on YouTube, just watching the comments roll in, replying to people, which have all been really, really positive, which is fantastic. And just a sense of relief and overwhelming kind of joy from the community has been great. And then after spending about 2 hours on Twitter, we promptly went to sleep through the middle of the day. And then woke up and then it was PAX time. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's been really, really, really fast and really intense, but it's been great.
What do you like about your job?
Being creative and getting to tell stories, honestly, and getting to give advice to people about how to run the game that I like to run it. I feel like a little bit of an outsider sometimes within the D&D community, just in terms of I run very grounded games. I run games where I want the emotional stakes to feel real. And sometimes that can be shaken a little bit when there's a pun that gets thrown in there kind of out of left field. And I love jokes at the table, but I want to create art with my game, I suppose. And what I really like about my job is writing content for Grimhollow, putting that content, whether it's on YouTube or it goes into a product, and seeing the people who come back and they're like, yes, thank you. We've wanted content like this. We agree with you. We feel this way as well. And knowing that I'm not a complete outsider within the community is really special.